Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you all so much for hanging with me, and I know it's been a while again since I posted. A lot's been going on and we've been doing a bunch of stuff. We've been getting ready for a 6-week trip to Canada, which we'll be able to post about and share with you guys as it starts. We'll be leaving in about a week now, and so just busy doing lots of stuff to get ready and to spend those last few minutes with people we love and my daughter and people that are here that we won't see for a while. So here we are at the beach this morning, and today is August 14th. It is the first day that I ever came to the beach with Kale. So a year ago yesterday, Frank, our good friend, passed away. And I have spoken so many times on the channel about faith over fear and having faith and doing things afraid. And that was one of the big things that I had to do with Frank, because it was so hard to be with him in his battle with cancer and to be with him in hospice, battling my own PTSD of being in buildings and medical machines beeping around me. And we were at hospice for almost 2 weeks together at the end, and my body was really, really breaking down and really in bad shape by the end. And that day when Kale came in and just rescued both of us and started taking care of Frank and I, and then didn't really leave our side for like the last week of Frank's life, was just so amazing. So then yesterday, the 13th last year, Frank passed. And then this time last year, I followed Kale out to the beach because I just didn't want to be alone, and he had provided so much support and comfort in the last week of Frank's life. Little did I realize that here I'd be sitting on this beach a year later and be so mind blown with the gift that Kale continues to be in my life. It's just mind blowing. It's unbelievable. So I need to take the faith over fear a step further. A long time ago, I actually went in the midst of my horrible marriages, 2 failed marriages I've had. And in the midst of, between the 2 of them, I went to a marriage conference actually. And the speakers were incredible. And one thing they said I took with me, but I think I didn't understand it fully at the time, but it has stuck with me all these years, and now it makes so much sense. And they said, there's only 2 options when we communicate with people. That's to communicate with love or to communicate from a place of fear. And a lot of times when we feel anxiety or we feel fear or out of control in a situation, that's when maybe we speak in a manner that is not kind, or we snap at someone or yell at someone, and something inside us somewhere has fear there, and it's causing that reaction. And again, I went through a whole nother marriage without really deeply understanding that concept, that how we interact with others is always only from one of 2 places. We're reacting out of a place of love or a place of fear. And it's happened in my relationship still today. Thankfully, it happens so much less that I recognize the fear in myself so much faster these days, which makes relationships so much better. And I can recognizing that when someone comes at me in a way that could be hurtful, that I can look at them and see that this is just a fear reaction. This person is genuinely experiencing a fear somewhere. And that doesn't mean I need to get mad at them or respond in a way that is going to be more harmful and more damaging to them, they cannot help the place that they're at in their life. And everyone, I really believe, is trying to do the best they can. In most people, in most situations, obviously there's exceptions, but I really truly believe that most of us are really just trying to do the best we can. And there's just places of legitimate fear that haven't really been explored and dealt with fully. So we can't fault people for that. We should love them through those places of fear. And it's made such a huge difference in my life, in so many of my relationships. If I can just look at the person and see if they're coming from a negative perspective, or they're a little sharp, or they're, like there's some sort of something going on there that I can look past, and I can not let the hurt or whatever they're trying to throw at me get inside. I can still respond from a place of love. Like I said, it's not easy by any means, but it's so helpful to think in that way, that if I can just take one little step back and think about the person and not what they're saying, not the words, but the person behind those words and what they might be going through in that moment, instead of reacting, and be able to respond from a place of love. Thankfully, because Kale is almost perfect, I have said over and over and over to him that I really think that maybe God sent an angel down from heaven to rescue me in those moments when I was taking care of Frank and I was at my end of my rope. And I really think that someday he's just going to disappear back to heaven. And so that's why he's so perfect for me, because we rarely ever fight and we just have a wonderful time together. And, like we just are two peas in a pod. But there have been moments where I have felt fear my own, and I have had to really not respond in that instance to something that he has said, because I realize that a fear has come up in me from something in my past, and I need to not respond out of fear in that moment, and just wait and let the love come through and let my fear be dealt with. I choose to take my fear and give it to God and pray about it and work through it. And then it's much easier to respond in a loving manner. But that's just me. Anyway, the whole point of today is that there are rewards and blessings when we can choose to walk in love. We don't have to let fear win. Sometimes we have to do things and we're afraid. And in those moments, we have to choose faith over fear. But when we're communicating and we're interacting with others, we need to choose love, because love conquers everything. If we can choose love in every moment, it makes such a big difference, and it shuts down those negative things that are coming at us. So today, here I am. We're at the beach again this morning. I have been doing a lot of thinking about Frank and how things were last year. I had a wonderful, lovely conversation with Frank's sister last night, and just really blessed to know her. And the gift of Frank continues, because I have met so many wonderful people that were his friends and that were a part of his life, even though we never knew each other before. And we still keep in touch, a lot of us. So lots and lots of love to go around, even though Frank could be a really gruff kind of guy at times, and he was a no nonsense and he liked things his way. But he really loved people. He really loved people. So that's the message of today. I know it's not van life and it's not spectacular. It's just me blabbing away at the beach. But that's what's been on my heart the last couple days. And I thought, this is what I do. I share my heart with all of you guys, and hopefully it's well received and you'll get something out of it. Anyway, I gotta go. Kale's coming over and I will wrap up here, give you one last shot of the beach. Here he is. There he is.
All sweaty.
Yes. Okay,
And
here's the beach.
unprepared.
Later, guys. Bye for now.